Welcome everyone to another JDM racing video. This time we are in Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix and it's qualifying Q1. We're going to take this baby around the track. Baby, I mean a car, not an actual baby, that would be weird. And we'll see where we're going to end up. I'm hoping, well, normally we're good at Austria, so I'm hoping we're going to get through to Q2. Let's see. We do make it through then, just, but man, that was close. 15th place, we scraped through to Q2, and then it's intermediate tyres and mixed weather for the second session, and hopefully we don't get caught out a bit all over the place there into the last few corners. Let's see where we end up. So a provisional second place in that Q2. I don't know if that's going to translate into Q3, but let's find out. Across the line, let's see where we end up for the grid on Sunday. Ninth place then, not last, but it's a tough one to try and match those top guys. We don't quite have the car for that. Hopefully, ninth place start for the sprint will be enough to get us into a decent position for Sunday.
The formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position. Work, mate, that brings you up a place.
So after a terrible start, let's be honest, getting swamped by the Alpines down the DRS straight, down into turn 3, turn 2, turn 3. I always think the kink is not a turn, but I think it is. The kink is turn 2, so it's turn 3. Yeah, anyway, We lost a load of positions, we got some back. We're going to start 9th, exactly where we started for the sprint.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. It's a short lap here in Spielberg with just 10 corners, 7 to the right and 3 to the left, making up the total distance of 2.6 miles. And expect to see a lot of cars running wide today, especially through the last corner, as the wet conditions make the cars skittish through the downhill sections. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Verstappen, George Russell and Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, Gardner and Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda and Latifi, Albon, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen and Guan Yu Zhou, Stroll, Vettel, Ocon and Oscar Piastri. And now it's time to head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Alright then, formation lap starts. Lewis Hamilton on pole. The Ferrari's just behind, so they are going to be looking to swamp him down into the first turn and try and steal a march on that. 7-time world champion. But that's a lot further up from where we are. We're just inside the points. Pace-wise, we've shown flashes of good pace in the wet, in the intermediate conditions in Q2. So I'm hoping that we are going to be able to kick on in the race. But as I was just thinking about that, I just paused. I was like, yeah, but we also lost a load of positions off a bad start for the sprint. So focus on the start, settle in, and then see where we go and what the weather's going to do. So very bargy down into turn 1, and then whoa, big dive bomb, take 3 cars, and then progress. But yeah, down into turn 1, very lucky not to get wing damage there. So now we're going to try and battle, keep the positions that we've just gained, and then kick on from here. Replay at the start then. Lewis Hamilton on pole position on your right. The Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, I believe, on your left. And Charles just looked like he edged in front, and then Lewis just dabbed the brakes coming out. He is just ahead. So Hamilton leads from the 2 Ferraris, and though Charles Leclerc looking like I mean, that Ferrari looks good on the brakes, to be fair. Hamilton staying in front at the moment. So approaching turn 3 up the hill, Daniel Ricciardo loses it, spins. This is the onboard shot. So Daniel Ricciardo goes in, maybe takes a little bit too much curb, and then wham! Tries to get on the accelerator and spins it around, lights the rear tyres up. Lando Norris, this is the view from his teammate just behind. And and there's the JDM just popping up the inside, and Lando's stuck on the curb. So we dive up the inside, Lando stuck, can't rejoin. Here's the Alpine of Ocon, locks up, smashes into the Williams of Albon. This is the onboard view from Ocon. Just can't get it slowed down. Oh, the suspension destroyed. And luckily for us, we just taken the McLaren down into that corner, so we got ahead of all that carnage. But the safety car does come out, so now manage the pace under the safety car.
A few lap outs yet, but it is coming, so be careful.
So we elect to get onto the dry tyre, the medium, and I believe the top 7 drivers in that list on the left hand side of your screen now, they have remained behind the safety car. They did not pit, so they've gone around, not pitted. Everybody else, from myself in 8th place down to Albon, have all basically got a free pit stop. Maybe they didn't want to double stack. Piastri double stacked with us for JDM, so we got ourselves covered in terms of the strategy, but these top 7 cars are going to be extremely disadvantaged now.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap. Okay, clear.
So, as we said, these top 7 have been left really exposed to everybody else pitting, so they're going to be joining at the back. So George Russell, who was leading the race, puts the mediums on and then gets back out, but they're going to be, I mean, half a lap down probably. So strategy really not working out for those 7. off the restart then. I was following the rest of the pack and then realised, no, I have to basically become the lead car and look for the line. Couldn't overtake before that line, else risking a penalty. And then trying to pull the gap to Alonso off the restart. And as we just saw, Alonso gets us a bit further around the lap. The slipstream extremely powerful around this track, so he just cruises up to the back of us. No DRS off the restart, I don't think anyway. He just, wow, look at the straight line speed of that Alpine compared to us. Just got in the slipstream, breaks down the inside and gets the lead of the race.
Behind is 4.4 seconds.
Not to be deterred, we pull off an absolute dive bomb into turn 1. Desperation to get this race lead back, as we see from the rear wing, and then switch to the TV camera. Push him out wide on the curb, and that gives us a little bit of a slingshot to try and pull a gap. And then Bottas getting involved with Alonso, which is, oh, and a lock up there. So he's trying to get second place and is basically doing us a favour by allowing us to pull outside of DRS range, and we can really try and do quali laps now to ensure that we don't get hit by the DRS. And Bottas again changing positions with Alonso, and now the gap's increased to 1.4.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled. Be careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
And we join on board now with Sergio Perez. 2 overtakes in 1 corner there. He's a bit further down, I believe, and now pursues the Aston Martin. Out of place, I think, after the pit stops, so trying to force his way up the field and get some more points back for Red Bull. So positions himself for an attack on the Aston Martin, gets that quite easily. And into the final couple of laps is now chasing the Haas, gets him up into turn 3. Perez looking strong.
Absolutely fantastic. That is a brilliant, brilliant result. Well done.
Oh, this is absolutely amazing, guys. I can't even believe that we won this race. This is absolutely phenomenal. So much work on back at the factory, Mark on the pit wall. Oh my god, just thank you everyone.
Well, that might not have been the finest race in history, but there's no question it was a critical win. Anthony Davidson, How do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
So, our first career win as a driver, as a team owner in F122. JDM takes advantage of the weather, takes advantage of the strategy. It all just fell into place for us. We did have to fight Alonso hard. What a result for Alonso as well in the Alpine, second place. And Lando Norris third after the massive cock-up with his teammate earlier on in the race. Wow, great podium. Wow, what a crazy race weekend. From sort of going, having an absolute mare in the sprint to absolutely bossing it in the race. And like I said just a moment ago, everything fell into place for us. Crazy. Alonso second, Norris third. A bit of a topsy-turvy finishing order. Bottas, Gasly, Sainz, Hamilton, who was, I mean, he looked pegged on to win that race. If it had been like an average Grand Prix, he would have walked away with that, I think, once he dealt with the Ferraris. Perez, stronger second half to the race. He managed to get back into it. Magnussen with a good finishing position for Haas. And Vettel gets a point for Aston Martin as well. Piastri, 13th. He did benefit from those pit stops, but not enough to get a point for us. Sainz takes over at the top after all the craziness. We just close in on Lando Norris, 7 points behind him in 8th place. Ferrari extend, I believe, on Red Bull, and we lodge into 5th. So, what a fantastic race weekend this has been for JDM Racing. If you liked the video, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already for more JDM Racing action, and don't think we're going to be able to do this again, but we'll give it a go next time out. See you in the next video. Cheers for watching.